Joining me now is the host of the Aaron Cohen Show and an Israeli special ops veteran. That's Aaron Cohen. Aaron, thanks so much for joining me this Sunday.
Good to see you.
Aaron, I'd like to start with that hostage video released yesterday showing Israeli-American hostage Eden Alexander. Why exactly is Hamas releasing this video now? And do you think it has anything to do with that ceasefire that happened in Lebanon this week?
Well, it's a good question. Here's where I'm at with that hostage release video. I believe that video is being released as a last-ditch effort by Hamas because of the amount of pressure that Israel's been systematically putting on Hamas for the last 13 plus months. It's a clear indication that boots on the ground have worked. Israel's methodic pressure cooker, or in Hebrew, as we say, sir lachatz, that pressure cooker campaign, has essentially forced the last remnants of Hamas into that corner of Israel. Remember, Biden didn't want Israel going into Rafah. Israel ended up going into Rafah. Hostages were rescued, including Noah Argamani and others, when the Imam, Israel's counterterror unit, launched that brilliant raid. And so this is a last-ditch effort by Hamas to try and garner whatever last little bits of international pressure they can put on Israel. But the fact is that Israel's basically stomped out Hamas at this point. And I think now the focus is going to be on rescuing or trying to garner whatever intelligence they can to rescue those remaindered hostages in Gaza. That's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I want to talk about the balance that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has to sort of strike in between these two situations. It was considered a major win when he secured that ceasefire in Lebanon, but the hostage issue, of course, a political time bomb for him. So what kind of balance does he have to strike between fighting that war and making sure those hostages come home safely?
Well, it's tough, and Bibi's been in a tough situation for the last year plus. The ceasefire in Lebanon, I got to tell you, is really at this point Israel saying, "Look, we've done enough damage to Hezbollah." You got to remember, we took out 4,000 of their mid-level and senior-level logistical personnel from that terror organization and practically decapitated them within a matter of seconds with that brilliant Mossad pager operation. So Bibi pivoting to the hostages now and sort of leaning into the ceasefire with Lebanon and Hezbollah in the north. I don't really think it had a ton to do with Biden. I know Biden wants to take credit for it. But I think really it was Israel, the IDF, the Mossad, the Israel security apparatus saying, look, we've done enough damage to Hezbollah up in the north. Now let's start to refocus back on the hostages in Gaza. And they're also having a really close look, Alex, at Syria right now. You've got some pretty hardcore Islamic terror-linked organizations that are running aggressively through Aleppo. They just took Aleppo. Now they're up in the president's region. And so Israel's watching that very closely, but I think that could be an advantage to Israel and to the United States. The reason why is because it creates targets of opportunities, but Israel's watching that one very, very closely as well.
I want to get your take on the latest news about the UN saying it's going to suspend aid deliveries across Gaza after these looters are attacking those convoys. The UN actually going so far as to blame Israel for that breakdown in the rule of law. Is it fair for the UN to blame Israel for that?
No, I don't think it's fair to blame Israel for any of it. And I think that the UN, UNRWA, which is a piece of the UN, has been a disaster. We'd like to think that the UN is in the right place, but they're just not. There seems to be a lot of terror support with different entities and elements of that organization. They've got a particular bug for Israel. Israel conducts operations with a ton of selectivity, with a ton of morality. And it's been very challenging. And with this last attack that we just saw with the World Kitchen, for instance, Israel ended up targeting one of their Hamas operative who they've been tracking for months, who was directly involved with the October 7th massacre at one of those kibbutzes. So Israel's been conducting operations better than anybody in the history of modern warfare for these kinds of operations. I think everybody's kind of onto the UN now and seeing how unfair they've been to Israel, but Israel's just going to continue to do what it has to do. They don't really have a choice.
All right, that's Aaron Cohen, the host of the Aaron Cohen Show, also Israeli special ops veteran. Thanks for your insight today, Aaron.
Appreciate you. Thank you.